Hi and welcome to day 23 of Counting the Omer. We are in the week of Netzach. And this morning when I was tapping into the energy of these two Sephirots together, the Gevurah within Netzach, I saw this river pouring from the crown or from heaven and down through my body, within my mind and including my right shoulder, the chesed, and then towards Gevurah, into my heart, and then down to my right hip. And I was thinking, what kind of, if there was an actual river pouring from the masculine and the feminine God, and the unknown aspect of God, inspiration and love and wisdom is pouring down into me, going through my mind, going through this endless river of love and direction and our gifts that wants to be shared, going through our ability to say no and yes, to make good choices for ourselves and others, to wait, to have that strength to wait. And then it pours through our heart. It brings with it everything that's there within the heart, the wisdom, the love, but also our wounds. And then it pours down into the right hip, into the Netzach. And it also includes the solar plexus in a way, which is our willpower. And if this is balanced, we have this great belief in ourselves. We feel worthy. We feel strong within our own being. And it brings with that energy, or if that energy is out of balance, it brings with it this unworthiness and smallness and fear, and then into that right hip, and it wants to move into a direction. So let's say we have a request from someone, or we have this goal or intention. There is something we want to move towards. But then suddenly, on our way, I have this image now. I'm riding a horse. The horse is the symbolism of this power we have within to move towards something, to move towards victory. And we are moving towards something where we can share our gifts. We have this idea in our mind that, I'm really good to do this or that, or I feel it in my heart that I'm supposed to meet a partner. So I'm moving towards meeting someone, or maybe you are with a partner and you want to have a harmonious relationship, and you have that harmonious relationship as your goal, and now we are moving towards that. But then suddenly the horse and you are bumping into an obstacle, or something unknown comes in. This is the Ein Sof aspect of our being, our nature, the universe, the planetary shifts, everything that happens which we can't really manipulate or control. Like this weekend there was this giant sunstorms, and I was so affected by it. I got completely overwhelmed, and I was so tired I couldn't do any of those things I had already planned out. This is my nervous system which is kind of fragile, and I have become very sensitive to energies, and this can be a gift, but it can also be a very heavy thing to carry, because it's not coming from a strong empathetic place. It also comes from sickness and trauma. So my point is that we can have this goal, we can have a direction, we want something, and we know exactly how to get us there or get ourselves there. We know where to lead the horse, how to use this power of Netzach, our masculine drive. If I want to create a garden, I know what I need to do. I need to create the flower beds, I need to get some soil to fill them up, and I need to plant seeds. I need to probably buy some, flowers or things which I can't plant seeds to make, things like that. We know exactly what to do very often. But then suddenly there's dry. It won't rain for 5 weeks, and nothing wants to grow without water, and maybe the whole country is dried out, so we're not allowed to water even. Okay, what to do then? And sometimes we know exactly where we are going and how to share our gifts and what we want to do, but then suddenly a person comes in and triggers us. Maybe they come with a request, a need. And since this river coming from God, this love, this endless river of love that wants to be shared, moves through our heart, it also brings with it the shadow side, all our wounds, all our feelings of guilt, all our patterns. It moves through our nervous system, so our nervous system plays a role in this. All the patterns we have within the body will influence our choices. So when something unknown comes up, disturbing your road trip in a way, we will be forced to make a decision, because life happens all the time and we can't predict everything. And every time something unknown, an obstacle comes in, there will be this need to think out of the box, think of the problem in a different way, or make a decision. What will I do now? Let's use this garden example. I know exactly how I want my garden to look like, but suddenly there's no water. It forced me to make a decision. And the decision is the Gevurah. What is the best thing to do now in this situation? Do I wait, planting out the seeds, hope for rain later? Do I plant them out, hoping that they will not dry, but then the consequence will be that they will dry out and I cannot use them for later, so I need to buy new seeds. But if I plant them too late, there's a risk that they will not have enough time to grow. this is maybe an example which is not so useful for most people, but I'm trying to show you how life always comes in with this unknown and gives you opportunities to use your Gevurah within the Netzach to make really good choices for yourself and for everyone, for the better good. And I can't help it but to love how the counting of the Omer again and again and again gives me an opportunity to sense into the energy the day before. So I know exactly what to work on the next day. And I was talking and sharing with you my mission, that I'm here to heal the masculine and the feminine energies and bring them into oneness with each other. I'm here to create union, walk that path on my own, of course, and find my way to union. And by doing so, lighting up the way, the road for other people as well. And I get guidance how to do that. And right now the guidance was very clear to share this counting of the Omer on YouTube that came from my higher self. And then I have my other gifts, which I haven't really figured out the best way to share yet. And the frame around my healing gifts, for example. And for some years now, I know that people sense my healing gifts and they come to me for help. But since I haven't really built this foundation and like a system for that, there can easily be a little bit confusion. And some people come to me and they would like to be my friend. But after some time, I realized that this is not like a friend object to me. It's more someone coming to me because they unconsciously feel that they need healing. And then I'm suddenly there with this unknown aspect and trying to figure out what to do. I have some men in my life that they connect with me, they contact me every time they need some advice or they need some healing, which is of course okay if this was talked about. But when they are not even aware of it, and I'm not aware of it, the communication is not clear, the situation is not clear, the truth is not out there that, hey, I'm coming to you with a need, can you help me? And then when this is not spoken about and it's not clear to all of us, what immediately happens then is this feeling that the energy between us is not balanced either, because I feel like I'm just giving and giving and giving, and I really don't get anything in return. There's not really a friendship there because these are not people I can trust on and call when I need something. Then they are not interested. And maybe also for me, I don't need those people to be my friends, actually. So it's this unbalanced relationship dynamic. The masculine and the feminine out of balance with each other. The feminine is just over-sacrificing, giving. And today I was really sensing into, why do I do that? And the answer is guilt. If I don't give freely, if I don't support the masculine, I feel guilt. Because deep inside, I know I can help. I know I can heal. And saying no to that makes me feel guilty. And that's very interesting information. Because giving because you feel guilty if you don't, is not really giving from the truth of your soul. And maybe it's not the best for that other person either. Because you kind of, or I kind of take away that person's power and ability to find his or her own solutions, to go within and search for the answers within. So all these kinds of topics comes up in me because I haven't really figured out whether I'm supposed to give healing free of charge or put a price on it and be strict with it, and when not to be rigid. You know, this is also the Gevurah. If it's too fixed on, well, I can't give healing because if I don't get money back or some sort of energy, or there's not a friendship here and the energies between us are not balanced, if I'm too rigid about it, I'm operating from fear and not from this flow. Love wants to be shared freely and out of this flow. And sometimes that happens very naturally. I find myself in a situation with a person and I connect, and somehow I know that, oh, my soul brought me to this dinner or this meeting or this retreat just for me to meet this one person that I could help. And in those situations, there's no need for me to have anything in return, money or recognition or whatever. But the situations change when that person suddenly becomes somehow dependent on my energy and my healing. So I can have one meeting and the healing energy just happens dynamically and freely, and it comes from this beautiful connection and the meeting between two souls. And that's something I find so beautiful and so fulfilling. And seeing someone being completely trapped in their own emotional and mental body and really stuck, and suddenly, just because I could say something or touch that person's heart, his or her perspective and experience change, and suddenly he or she feels their whole being filled with love. And the beauty in that is just unexplainable. But what happens if that person gets addicted to that energy, to that meeting, to that love being shared between us, and they misunderstand and they want more of it? That's when I get into a very hard situation. Because where do we go from there? And these questions comes up all the time. We think now I know exactly what to do. Now I have the whole structure of my business or whatever you are doing or wanting to create or move towards. and then someone comes in, or something happens, the weather change, or clients don't come, or whatever. So this is just life unfolding for us continuously. But if we learn to look at it and use those situations to come into the center point, to search for the truth in this situation, and be so vulnerable to look within when something feels difficult, or there's a confusion in the mind whether you should say yes or no. What if you wait? This is not a problem you need to fix immediately. Sit with it for some days. Look within. Why is this difficult for me? Why is this yes or no answer not super clear? Maybe you see only a very, very small aspect of it. And also, if we get triggered by something, it might be an indication that you have a wound. And something needs to be released, a fear, guilt, shame, or this competition idea some of us can have. Or so what I did today, because I was sitting with a decision like this, I saw that there's a yes and no answer to this request I got, and I needed to sit with it for some time, because there wasn't like a clear yes or a clear no. Because if I said no, I felt fear of doing something wrong, like not sharing my gift. And if I said yes, I knew that I would feel somehow empty afterwards, or that didn't feel right either. And then we know we need to sit down and not act too quickly. This has been something I have learned over time, and I find it still difficult, because when this pressure builds up, when life comes in and create this confusion, and you feel pushed to make a decision, there will be a pressure inside and a feeling of uncomfort. To build up our strength in the Gevurah, to hold that for a while, not wanting or trying to fix it. Bringing ourselves into neutrality. Trying to see the truth of this situation and the best solution for everyone, not just you or not just that person, but for everyone. Because we are all one. It's so easy to, when we work on the divine feminine side of us, we go completely into that polarity for a while, and we work with that energy, and we completely surrender. We become so soft. I've been in that energy for a long time, because my sickness kind of pushed me into that surrendering place, because my body wouldn't function. So if I had a masculine drive, I couldn't act on it, because it brought me out of harmony immediately, because I had so little body energy to do things. So I needed to be very, very strong in my ability to wait and to use my energy in a very, very wise way. And this is also the Gevurah within the Netzach. You want something, but you know you only have a certain amount of money. And that thing you want, it costs a lot more than the money you have. So what do? Well, you kind of have to wait, don't you? Or you can, of course, take up a loan and buy it. And sometimes we need to do that because maybe there's a tool. But then you have this decision again. Okay, I take up a loan. It will cost me more money because then I have to pay rents and things like that. How important is it for me to have this thing right now? Maybe it will pay off later because it makes me able to start my business in the moment. And right now it's a good time for that. Or maybe you need to just wait until you have enough money. When this decision comes up, there's a pressure building up inside. And instead of allowing that pressure to really show us the way to the right decision, it's so easy to try to fix it. Act on it as quick as possible. On the masculine side, if we are completely over in the feminine side, there will be too much stillness. There will be no action. There will just be nothing. You will just be almost like depressed. You don't share your energy. You don't share your gifts. You don't use your creativity. You are just completely collapsed. And that's the feminine polarity, the shadow side of the feminine. And on the masculine side, if you are too much over in the masculine, you will be completely trapped by your own drive to do, fix, manage. And you're not in touch with your feelings. You're just in the mind trying to fix everything, do, make money, make progress, make success. And you're not really using that beautiful masculine drive together with a beautiful feminine way to stop, go into stillness, wait for the right timing, surrendering to God, and then, releasing the grip when the time is ready for the masculine to go. It's like holding the horse. You're letting go of the, I don't know the English word, but the thing you are guiding the horse with, which is in their mouth. So you kind of lead the horse in the right direction. So this is the Gevurah really, together with the Netzach, the power to move. So maybe this day is the day for you to sit with some decisions and look at them from many different perspectives and see if you have some patterns either on the masculine polarity or the feminine polarity. The masculine is the one that wants to do something. It's a giving energy, it's a directed energy, it's a moving energy, while the feminine is a stillness energy, holding back, withdrawing, going into magnetism. going into the minus side of the battery, while the masculine is that plus energy, wants to give. But what if the masculine wants to give so much that it kind of takes away that person's power? Or if you give too much water to a plant, it will actually die. So giving over giving is not an option either. So when you bring those two into the center point, there will be a dance. I give just this right amount of water to this flower. If you're a healer, you give the exact amount of healing energy to a person, and then you know when to withdraw or hold back your wisdom or your love or your energy, so that person can find its own solution. Or you just honor your time and your energy, and you go out and you do healing work when you have the energy, when you feel that you are so fulfilled that you can just share without feeling empty or without having this what's in it for me state of mind. It's about awareness and trying to find the truth in every situation, in every meeting you have with another person. Because sometimes we think we have that truth, but that truth might be a very limited belief system or a concept that you are trapped by. And often, if there will be this feeling that this is not really flowing. This is, something is like contracting inside of me. Something feels a little bit off here. I don't feel well. My heart contracts. I don't feel open-hearted. I don't feel like I can share completely freely right now. It doesn't mean that there is something about that other person, but maybe something about you. Maybe there are some wounds to be healed, or some balance out, or some energy out of balance, a lack of structure. So life will always give us this unknown aspect, so we can grow in that decision making in our Gevurah. And life will always give you ideas and inspirations and things you want to do or have or a desire. This is the life force itself and our gifts that really wants to be shared. The Netzach is always there, is an aspect of God, which means it's an aspect of you. We all have gifts. We all have love within that wants to be shared one way or another. We all have this desire and need to create. Whether it's creating love, peace, harmony, or you want to build a huge retreat center or a big business or a relationship, There will always be some sort of desire within. But when we tune those desires and we purify them, bring them up to the heart, and asking ourselves every time we have a desire, where is this really coming from? Is it from the pure heart, the higher self and God? Or is this coming from the human mind, thinking that I need this or that because I feel empty? And I think this or that can fill that emptiness up. The mind will try to trick you over and over and over again. But if we really make our intentions and directions and goal into being love, into the I am presence, into sharing truth, bringing into harmony, sharing that love, sharing that joy, coming home to joy, being joy. That intention, that goal is so strong. It will definitely guide you the way home or guide you towards the right path. How can I serve in the best way? Maybe serving completely out of, not charging for it is your way, and maybe it's not the way for another. Because if they do, their life will be out of balance in some way. If you have children which goes to school and they are in a society and they need to fit in, there will be a need for money, and we live in a society, if you don't have food growing in your garden, you need to buy them. So there must be some money coming in one way or another. So then you need to make your work in balance with that need. So there will always be this unknown aspect coming in and bringing us out of harmony, out of balance, out of truth, creating this pressure inside to make a good decision for everyone. This will never stop. But what we can do is to take our time to sit with it, seek the truth, go within, make decisions coming from love towards ourselves, that other person, and for the highest good. Okay. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please write them down into the comment section and share your thoughts. Maybe your experiences with this energy. Maybe there is some certain episode or situation showing up in your life today or yesterday that we're expressing this energy of today's counting Gevurah within Netzach. And it's always so nice to read other people's experiences and share with each other. Be mirrors to each other. Support each other. If you want to, if you feel like. And if you don't, it's perfectly fine. So now I gave you a little drop. Suddenly you had to make a decision. Do I want to share something or do I don't? And the pressure builds. Okay. I send you so much love from the bottom of my heart, from the entire power of my soul, and from the light within. I send that to you, and I hope you feel that. Amen.